Hello, I'm Len Hen. I'm from Mullumbimby, Australia. This short video will show you how to paint a sunset in oils or acrylic. Now for this exercise I have a little board. It's not a big board, it's 14 inches by 11 inches. And over here I have my colours: crimson, warm yellow, a little bit of raw sienna, Prussian blue and white. And because it's a sunset, I'm using Prussian blue because Prussian blue is the colour of the night sky. Plus it gives very good dark silhouettes. So I start by picking up the white, and always start low on a sunset. You get much more sky if you start low on your board. So that's about 2/3 of the way down, a little bit more, almost 3/4 of the way down the board. And we'll start by brushing on the white, just horizontal brush strokes, and use both sides of your brush. Keep this white glow in the middle. And as we work on this painting, we're going to make it up as we go along. Well, I've come up well over halfway with the white, but I'm still missing these bits over here, so I'll clean my brush over here. Then pick up a little bit of the yellow and start at the top to see how it goes, because we don't want it too dark here, but it doesn't matter if it's dark there. I always take my sky up at an angle, about like that. Not too sharp, just a little bit of an angle. And I'll unload my brush here again. I'm just using a backwards and forwards brush stroke using both sides of the brush. And here, fill this in. That's pure warm yellow. I'm painting in acrylics, of course. You might be painting in oils. Do exactly the same if you're painting in oils. Now with my brush still dirty in the yellow, I'll bring it down here and run it through the white, but not too much. I've lost a little bit there. I'll put a little bit of white back there. Too much contrast between the yellow and the white there. Let's blend it a little bit. And I'll come back with a bit more white. And run it backwards and forwards until we get what we want. Lob in there. There. Don't run it backwards and forwards till we got nothing. So a little bit too much contrast there and there. Well, that'll do. Now if you want to, you can run your sky up like this with a soft brush to get that fanned out look, but it's not always necessary. I'll come in with the yellow again on the bottom. Sometimes you can paint 3 or 4 sunsets at once. Just line them up and paint them all together. And I'll clean my brush down here. Now I'll put a lot of yellow right across here. That's one big stroke. And I'll come in with a crimson on top of that. Oh, I picked up a bit of blue there. I didn't mean to do that, so don't pick up the blue. I'll go over it with some yellow and hope it goes away. Here we are. Now, blend the two colours together now, and you'll get a pretty orange. That's what we want, like that. Don't come down here too much. Definitely don't come down in the middle, but if you come down on the edges a little bit. And a little bit more up here. And I picked up the blue again. Didn't mean to do that at all. And bring in crimson in the side there. I'm using alizarin crimson here because I just thought that'd give us a nice bright glow. And I'll fill the corner in with the yellow and up over the crimson a bit. Blend them together. Now don't take your brush strokes too far. Don't blend your brush strokes too much. It's not necessary to keep painting backwards and forwards all the time. And I'll clean my brush here. Now, I'm going to take that off because I know if I put the blue on there, it's going to go green. And what I want on there is the red. Touch it in, blend it again. That's it. Don't play with it. Then you can come in with your Prussian blue. That'll give us that very dark sky at the top, which we need to keep the eye into the picture. Crisscross brush stroke. Give it a little bit of action up here. It's quite right above our head almost, so you can have a little bit of something happening there. And I've lost most of my crimson, so I'll drag that over the top. And finish off the other side. Bring it in and keep this up in that direction. Make sure you go up in the same direction all the time. Well, what's wrong with my painting? There's a bit missing there. My brush is dirty. I'm not going to risk it. I've changed brushes. And I've loaded it with a bit of white and yellow on the same side of the brush. I think that'll fix that. A bit too much contrast there. Come back with a bit of red. I've got a little bit of white on the brush, not much, but I can give it a little bit like this. It'll give us a little bit of a bottom of a cloud look. A little bit of white. I'm turning the brush to get the paint to come off the edge. Now my sunset is too white here. I can see there's bits of yellow in there, but there's not enough. So with yellow on my brush again and a little bit of white there, I'll blend this bit here. So we do have that white glow. We do need the white glow, but not quite so much contrast as we got here. I must keep that same angle. And right along the bottom, which will be our horizon line, let's have some white, a little bit of yellow over it. Now you have a choice what to do with it. This is where speed painting, you make it up as you go along. I can see I could have a piece there to cover it in. I could have something coming in like that. This area of the sky is good. I'd like to keep that. So whatever I put in there, I need to keep the middle, keep it looking bright. Let's put red across there because that's halfway between the background and the foreground. I'll put the yellow there, blend them together, make sure you cover all your board, clean your brush. More yellow because we need it brighter in the middle, the same as the sky. I've got a bit too much on my brush here, but I'll unload it over here. Ooh, a bit of dark coming there, that's handy. That's okay. Clean my brush again, pick up a little bit of white, and always want white in this area here, but not pure white, so let's knock it back a bit like that. That's too square there. There. We're still making it up as we go along. Now for our dark colour, let's mix the crimson and some Prussian blue together. And a little bit of raw sienna, I'll let that come in there too, because that'll change it from purple into a very dark grey, almost black. And the raw sienna I'm using is a very dark raw sienna. Some raw siennas are quite light, but that's quite a dark one. So that colour is almost black. Don't mix your colours completely, there is streaks of colour through there. Then pick it up with one side of your clean brush. Let's have a tree there, and a tree here, letting come off the picture so it keeps your eye into the picture. And there'll be some shadow on the ground, so I'll just put a little bit of dark there. Maybe just a touch there too. Something in the distance wouldn't hurt. Just when the brush has not much paint on it, so you get that effect that you can almost see through that paint. And my brush has picked up a little bit of white on it too. Well, that's okay. And a line underneath. Don't fiddle with that too much, but just leave it about like that. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's not a square or a circle. It doesn't matter what shape it is, it's just something in the distance. Now then across to our horizon line on the other side of the painting. And I don't quite like that bit of sky there, so let's have a tree hanging over into here. You can see a bit of yellow between the tree and that. Okay, there. And keep your trees mushroom shaped, of course. This tree is not perfectly shaped, but it's the silhouette of a tree. You can see through there. The trees all compete for the light. They're not round like a ball. That one's a little bit too round. So I can take it there a bit. It can be quite a big tree, actually. There. And back here there might be something. Now the brush is running out of paint. That's good because we get that silhouette look. And that's all we need. Then with our little round twiddly brush, I'll load it with two colours, dark on one side, light on the other. Keep your light on the inside of the picture. And this tree trunk needs to be leaning in. Let it come from about there, put it on pretty well. And it can come in. I'm turning the brush, see? That gives me the white line come off. That's a little bit too white. I'll run the dark down again. And clean my brush under here for shadow. And these twigs, they can be dark because it is a silhouette. And maybe a white one through the dark bit there. It's only white so we can see it. That's the only reason we're doing it white. Over here it's dark. And on the other side again, two colours on my brush. Keep the dark on the outside. And of course, the branches sloping in. Don't put all your branches 1, 2, 3, exactly the same distance apart. Let them break up a little bit so they're not exactly the same distance apart. And a couple of bright white ones there. We're not worried about whether this would be in the sunlight or not. We're creating a picture. I'll put a couple of white spots on the ground there.
And now I've loaded my brush with just pure white, and I'll have a white line here, which is always useful in the distance to attract the eye back into the picture. Now I'll pick up everything on the brush. I've got a bit of crimson, a bit of grey, and a bit of raw sienna here, all on the brush at once. And we just block in the bottom. It needs to be dark, that's all. Don't let your brushwork come up into here and straight across there. That's all you need. Of course, slope it in there and slope it in there. Then, I haven't cleaned my brush. I'll take this across here, and that will turn a little bit green. You see how it turns green? It takes very little blue paint to turn yellow into a green. Now, the contrast between there and there is too much. So I'll run that's a bit of white and yellow on the brush there. And we've lost our crimson, so let's put a bit of crimson in there too. Now, that's it. Don't fiddle, don't go backwards and forwards. Then with a clean fan brush, now my fan brush isn't clean, it's got green paint on it. So let's dirty it in the colour we need. And then at least if it's dirty in the right colour. Oh look, a bit missing there. I'll put some tree trunks there in a moment. Now with a fan brush, dab, dab, dab in the distance. Don't dab your beautiful bright bits. Only dab little bits, like that. And a little bit there, a little bit there and there. And then from the corner, push it on and bring it up like this. Don't worry about too much in the corner there. See, I've picked up some paint there and transferred over here. Fan brush is dirty, clean it. And we can dab dab a few little flowers in here. That's yellow and white on the brush at once. Gives us a little bit of flowers shining in the sunlight. Now placing those branches I forgot in the background here. Not many. Now don't go fiddling around with your branches, just put them in there. That's it. If they're too thick, put some foliage over them. And let's have a dead tree. That's Prussian blue, straight. I don't want it there. I don't want it on that line there. Don't run your dead tree through there. Either out here or that here. We might have two. Let's have one out there. Again, if your branches, you can't quite see them, that's okay. Because in the bush, on many occasions, you can't quite see things. This time I've loaded my brush with two colours. There's a little bit of white on the inside, and I'll try and get that white to come off so I can see it running through that tree. There we are. Now my painting looks a little bit glary there. I'm going to put a couple of things there to show the horizon line. That's it. And I'll unload my brush to finish. My tree's not in the ground there. Okay, that'll do. Now what do we need? A couple of little tree trunks there. 1, 2, 3. Not much, just to show that that is trees. Well, that's a simple sunset. Remember to keep the glow coming out of the middle, and you make your arrangement up as you go along. There's many scenes you can paint like this. It's completely up to your imagination.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that short lesson. Remember, there's many short lessons available free on my website, paintwithlen.com. Thank you.